Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be looking at a new event coming into the game. It is called Armed Rebellion. It is being promoted as a premium event, but it does say there is potential to be able to get copies of Ajax for free, as he is the accompanying character in this event. If you want to check out more information on Ajax himself, should be in the top right hand corner, a little link, as I have done a preview of this character already. Let's get into this event info and see what is going to be available. And as it says on the screen, premium event, Armed Rebellion. The event times are as follows. It starts on the 9th of June at 5 PM Pacific time, and it ends on the 23rd of June at 5 PM Pacific time. 24 hours later, the grey market will end, giving you a little bit of free time, just a little bit of extra time to claim any of those rewards that you forgot to claim during the event while it was live. Now, reading through the event main information, it says during the Armed Rebellion event, players can expect a new Allegiance roadmap every 2 days. The roadmaps will require at most 3 of the same Allegiance fighters to complete. These roadmaps will also feature enemy fighters that will be more difficult as the stages progress, so players should be prepared to do battle. The Allegiance roadmaps will reward XP trainers, ability trainers, military supplies, silver mythics, and metal lighters. Metal lighters will be used as energy on the bullet roadmap, which will reset every 2 days. The bullet roadmap will reward ability trainers, XP trainers, armory tokens, military supplies, as well as dropping bullets from each stage. Players can exchange bullets in the grey market for copies of gold mythic Ajax and more. Bullets will drop in the same quantities for each stage on the bullet roadmap, but less often each time the bullet roadmap reappears. Now, while these roadmaps will require 3 characters of the same allegiance, that means you have 2 characters that you could use every single time. That could be 2 particular characters that are very good for roadmaps against these sort of stages. If you are someone who struggles against these sort of stages and you did want to do this event, I would say Mike is one of the best roadmap characters out there against human teams. He's pretty much able to 1 versus 5 a lot of these roadmap teams because they don't have mods, they don't have passives, and Mike will take full advantage of that. So I would definitely recommend him as a character, plus the extra characters that you will require on the stage. He makes things a lot easier, whether you manual, whether you auto, it doesn't matter. Now, it does have a note here, and it says Armed Rebellion is a premium event, and Gold Mythic Ajax is a limited time event fighter that will not enter the Gold Mythic token wheel after the event ends. So this is seemingly going to be the norm for all newly released characters, where they're not going to be going onto the Gold Mythic token wheel. I'm not really sure what's going on there. However, all players will still have the opportunity to earn copies of Gold Mythic Ajax for free. So I guess we're going to have to find out where that's going to be the case. Now, firstly, we'll go over the bullet roadmap. It does last for 2 days and it reappears multiple times. And you can see the energy is metal lighters. You need to take mythic characters and it gives some random reward on the stages, just like most roadmaps do. The drop reward is a guaranteed 100 bullets on the first appearance. As you can see, it says 100% of the time, the drop reward will be 100 bullets, so you can farm this over and over and over again. Then if we go to day 3 and 4, it's exactly the same rewards, except the bullets will now drop 80% of the time. And if we go to 5 and 6, it will drop 60% of the time. 7 and 8, it will drop 40% of the time. And 9 and 10, it will drop 30% of the time. I believe that's the last act. Actually, no, there is actually one more. Day 11, 12, it will drop 25% of the time. And that is not the last act either. Day 13, 14 will then drop 20% of the time. But everything else is pretty much the same rewards. But the reduction in the drop rate for each time it comes back. So this is basically, hopefully, from Scopely's perspective, promoting people to buy the metal lighters early to farm the first act. Now, if you are someone who wants to get whatever's in this event, that is the way to do it. If you are going to spend, is to spend early, so you can farm and get 100% drop rate, because later on you could potentially, if you waited till the last days, you'd have to get 5 times as many metal lighters to get the same amount of drops. But the offers potentially could get better later on in the event, is how we see it in these premium events in the past from Scopely, and this is why a lot of people do sit back in these events, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to sit back in these events just because they don't want to spend early. We'll see what happens here. This is something that's brand new. Obviously, Scopely are trying to test out test the waters on how to present things to people who are going to be spenders, and this is one way of doing things to try and promote early spending rather than just waiting and seeing what they can get. But I'm guessing this is going to have a reasonable negative feedback, and some people will just obviously not do it. As with anything that's new, that's just the way it goes. So here's the free-to-play options. This is the Allegiance roadmap, and these do reward metal fighters, so you don't necessarily have to purchase anything to get some of the character. Obviously, after you do the first one, Atlanta Day 1 and 2, you're going to get guaranteed metal lighter drops, and you can run it on the guaranteed roadmap to get guaranteed drops on the first days. Obviously, it has diminishing returns on the next day. So Atlanta Day 1 to 2, you need to use at least, apparently only one Atlanta Allegiance character rather than 3. But then you need to have 3 world energy, and it's going to give rewards. If you complete the act, you're going to get a metal lighter. Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Act 5, and that means you're going to be able to get 5 of the metal lighters, so 500 of the bullets guaranteed if you run that roadmap on the first day. Then we have Commonwealth Days 3 and 4, and this is going to be the same. It's going to give 5 metal lighters over the 5 acts. You just have to take 1 Commonwealth character on each stage, and you'll be able to get yourself 5 metal lighters. Again, that's enough to complete the second day's roadmap, but this time around it's going to have an 80% drop rate. So one of those stages you're less likely to get, obviously, most likely to come out with 4 drops of the bullets, but you could get unlucky. So like I say, it seems to be promoting spending early on to try and get the 100% chance rather than you waiting and seeing what you can get, because obviously if you wait and see what you can get and you don't get enough, you're going to have to spend a lot on those 20% and 25%. But it's going to go through a lot of the different allegiances. Then it's going to be Holiday Heroes giving another 5, and then it's going to be the next one, Kingdom, for days 7 and 8. You're going to be getting just basic rewards on the side, so it's always worth doing this. It's only going to cost world energy. Knights is next. That's definitely an interesting choice, but it is only 1 character that you have to do. But it does actually scale up. I didn't actually see that. When it gets to Act 5, it does go up to 3. But they can be grade 1, I'm assuming. It doesn't say anything about grade. So you can see just the different allegiances that are coming in. There's so many roadmaps. Survivors is going to be the last. Day 13 and 14, you can see the rewards are exactly the same the entire way through until we get to the end. And that is going to be basically how you can get the 5 daily lighters to run the roadmap on a daily basis. So you are going to be able to complete the main roadmap, which actually has quite a lot of main rewards. So if we come back to the bullet roadmap, you can see the actual rewards that you get from each stage, like Brady's, Lilith, military supplies, Ulysses, and 10,000 armory tokens. You're going to be able to do this every single time. Those rewards are going to be the guarantee every single time. But then the RNG rate of the bullet drops is going to be what is going to determine how many bullets you get out of this. So, but for free-to-play people who complete this, from day 1 to the last day, you're going to all come out of it with slightly different amounts of bullets. It's going to be actually kind of strange. Now we have the Rebellion Grey Market here, and you can see that we can get Gold Mythic Ajax in here. It costs 500 bullets, and you can get up to 5 copies. So this means that if you do complete the first day roadmap, which costs world energy, and then you complete then the bullet roadmap, which costs the lighters, which you're going to get from the first day's Allegiance roadmaps, and it costs 5 lighters, which you will have. You'll get 500 bullets guaranteed, and you'll be able to get 1 Gold Mythic Ajax the first 2 days of the event. The second Ajax will be RNG, but you should eventually get another Ajax just based on the entire rest of the event. I think free to play, you could maybe get lucky and come out with maybe like an LB1, but I think LB2 and beyond is going to be, having to spend. And if you are going to spend, like I said, it's better to spend earlier. But this is presenting to me quite an obvious issue here, where people at the end of the event are going to have leftover bullets that they bought, because it's most likely you're going to look at it that you bought these extra bullets and you wouldn't necessarily otherwise. Again, this is coming into like how the mentality is over, treating your spenders is really strange in RTS. It always has been strange. where people will have those leftover bullets and potentially regret they've got them. Such a strange scenario to put spenders into, but that's the way it's going to be. But at least you get to use those bullets on other parts of the grey market. You can get yourself gold mythic tokens, but you know, seems to be a limit of the characters that are going to be in there now. You can get yourselves Maddoxes and Madelines, which is actually pretty decent because they're round numbers. They're not going to be like 60 cost, fortunately. So you can get yourself a decent amount of extra trainers here. So if you do get those extra bullets, it's not too much of a problem. But it doesn't look like you're going to have like a significant amount of claims that you can do. But it's not going to be too terrible. So this is it for the preview of the premium event, Armed Rebellion. But it has definitely got some accessibility. I think this is probably a better version of what is going on right now with the Michelle event, where you can kind of see up front what you do need to do and what you do need to get and what you can get seemingly as a minimum. I think minimum, if you complete every single day's roadmap out of this and then every single, you know, bullet roadmap, you should come out with a minimum of 2, and that's if you get extremely unlucky. But I think you could come out of it maybe 3, but it's going to obviously, you know, require some RNG there. We'll have to wait and see. So this actually could turn out to be pretty decent. Obviously, we're going to have to, you know, gauge that at the end of the event, and it's mainly going to be the experience for the spenders that will determine how good an event this is. For free to play, you need to just get what you can get out of this. Because it is a premium event, you need to just get what you can get. Now, is the character good enough to spend on? It really depends on how expensive those offers are going to be. If they do an early offer where they're giving you 5 metal lighters for $10 on day 1 or day 2, that's a guaranteed 100 bullets per lighter. That would be 500 lighters, and that's a guaranteed character. Whereas if they sold that on the last day of the event, they might sell it for cheaper. So at that point, they might sell it for like $5 to $10 for 5, but your chance of getting, you know, an actual bullet drop is much lower. So you can see over the course of the event, the metal lighters actually become worth less. So the offers are probably going to become slightly cheaper, but your return is going to be worse. It's such a weird event, but at least there's a bit more strategy to how you're going to approach this rather than just having no real information here. However, I will say the lack of information of where these characters are going to be in the future and the seemingly discontinuation of the gold mythic wheel without even saying anything, some information there would be very nice. Are characters ever going to be added to the gold mythic token wheel in the future? The gold mythic token wheel right now isn't even that good. It's only going to be good once there's more characters that you need on there. So if they're not going to be adding any more characters, yeah. Now, this starts very early for me on Friday morning. I will probably do another afternoon stream if you want to tune in on Friday, like I did for the Michelle and Ophelia event, for that last mini roadmap that was added, just to go through it, see how worthwhile it is, maybe check out some of the offers as well, just to see the kind of value that they're presenting with this event. If you want to tune into that one, I'll probably stream that on Friday afternoon, so hopefully see you then. But that's it for this video. Tell me what you think on face value. I think we have to experience it to really know how this is going to be. But as a free-to-play, you should be completing everything here. Everything. Trying to get what you can out of the event. If you're spending, I would say picking up some of the early offers probably is a good idea. But it is obviously based on the price point. If they're trying to sell you one copy for $100, that is a completely different thing. But if they're trying to sell you one for $10 and you're generally a spender and willing to spend, that the best time to buy is early on. Just FYI. But that is the end of my video, guys. Like I said, thoughts in the comments down below. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.